Hello. Today it is The Curse of Chalion by Lois McMaster Bujold, a standalone fantasy fiction book. Interestingly, it belongs to the world of the Five Gods series. That means all the books are set in the same world but with different stories, thus standalone. This world has five gods to worship: father, son, mother, daughter, bastard. All the gods have their own churches and followers. The magic or miracle comes only through worshipping them. There is heavy discussion on theology throughout the book. Maybe we can mention this as theological fantasy. Many lines were on spirit and matter and the differences. Theological philosophy is beyond my intelligence level. We all have our limits. It's a character-driven fantasy with very low magic. A single POV who is 35-year-old trying or struggling to stay alive. Now, a teenager or a child in fantasy is usual, but a grown man beyond his youth is rare. Lord Leop de Kazaril, now a broken man, a war veteran and former galley slave, returns to Valenda, where he worked as a page when he was a boy, ready to take any job to survive. He was surprisingly given the job of a secretary to a young Royce or Princess Iselle. A court intrigue in this medieval Europe influenced story has its formalities and etiquette that are followed by the courtiers, but just like any other court, what they say, they really do not mean. They do or say things to gain advantage or power or rank. It made the characters interesting and sometimes unpredictable. In the plotting, there was no world building that felt like infodump. The single POV storyline did not make the story unnecessarily complicated and took the reader through a solid and compact stage or stages where only the sufficient portion of world building took place just to give the reader a hold on the scenario. That is a slow and effective process. Readers get to know the world without sacrificing enjoyment of the free flow of the story. Not a single scene here seemed redundant. Everything was there to fit in the making of a wholesome, complex plotline. There is one thing I want to mention about the main character, Kazaril. He knows what a court culture is, how a court culture really works. In many other fantasies, we see a character suddenly gets entangled in a court life. A long time goes through trial and error to understand it. That makes Kazaril different from others. With a keen mind to balance and measure any situation or issue, he already knows and rather starts a new beginning to live a life of a courtier. There was very little action. I like action in my fantasy stories. A big, epic fight, battle, war. That is common and popular in fantasy, both modern or classic. But after reading this book, I realized that I like non-action or little action fantasy as well. A profound self-discovery of a naive reader. The author's words, sentences, writing style was not easy, not difficult also, rather medium difficult. Sometimes I had to read a line twice, sometimes I just continued reading forward when I did not have the patience to read again. The book was entertaining for sure. I have read that the second book has got one minor character from here with whom the author writes a completely different story with completely different characters, different places, but in the same world. I'm getting curious for another Bujold novel. Maybe someday. Take care. Goodbye.